Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, one and all, to August edition of the RBG Monthly Roundup Podcast. I, Daniel Stupradican, that one Dan guy on Twitter, am joined tonight by our lovely corporate office CEO, Josh Arcia, aka Randomize, and our COO, Michael Swan, aka Me Swan Jr. How you doing tonight, folks?
Doing well.
Doing pretty good. Tired, but
I'm
good.
glad to hear it. It's been a little bit since our last conversation all together. We've had some episodes that were a little broken up with one or the other of you, so I'm sure the folks at home will appreciate getting all three of our faces back together once more. But this evening, as always, we've got some roster updates, some company updates. We'll be letting you all know what things are happening in the world of RBG Esports and what events you can attend here coming up. Things of that nature. As always, feel free to reach out to us at RBG_esports on Twitter. If you have questions or comments about the podcast, feel free to leave comments down below on YouTube. Hit us up in our Discord. We've got a question box that we like to check every month so that we can communicate with you, our community, when we do these. So, guys, here tonight, let's start off as we normally do, and let's give the folks at home a little bit of an update on each of our rosters. Tonight, we're going to be speaking about Rocket League, our Apex teams, our CSGO team, Halo, Hearthstone. Any of those jump off the bat that you all would like to speak about?
I mean, everyone's been like side-eyeing Rocket League because of the Summer Open. We had a milestone win. For those that didn't watch the Summer Open produced by Rival Esports, we cruised through the qualifier on Saturday. Like, cruised. I think the qualifier match, if we didn't sweep, it was pretty darn close with very solid with 5-1, 4-1 brutal wins against top contender teams for rival series, like people that we would potentially be playing against this in the next season.
We had a heavy bracket. That was actually crazy. We had the top sided bracket and everything was 3-1 or 3-0.
Yeah. And then we got matched up against NRG in round 1 of the closed bracket of the Summer Open. Rival Esports put out a tweet with a poll asking which matches you want to see, and our match earned 52% of the votes. So we got streamed. I mean, NRG always gets streamed basically. But we took down NRG 3 games to 2. Big milestone win for us. We're super excited. The lads are stoked. They've been making a lot of progress, and it's a pretty meaningful win. Stacks, one of the rival series play by casters, tweeted out a pretty bizarre stat that was the first loss NRG took online in an online match. That's the first loss NRG took since, I think, October 8th or maybe October 10th of 2018.
Wow.
Like basically a year ago.
NRG
had not lost an online match. Like, we're talking about RLCS League play, some kind of qualifier for like DreamHack or whatever it might be. If it was an online match, NRG just didn't lose. On top of the fact that they're basically land gods everywhere they go. That's also, people will put up asterisks on that win because Turbo Pulsa is still playing from Europe. But that's a roster that they wouldn't have played if they thought they were going to lose. If they thought they were going to lose, they have no problem not playing if they're not in a stable position. The fact that they played, that they chose to play, is a big deal. Like, they felt that they could take the win, and Rapid, Aeon, and Seabass said otherwise, and it was awesome.
And they
it's a big moment for us.
They played in something previous. I think it was the Astro event.
They played the Team Beyond Astro like 3 days prior, and they swept the bracket.
Yeah, like everyone was trying to play the whole Turbo Pulse is still playing from EU, and they destroyed the bracket, and I think we were one of them again.
Yeah, we got swept. We got
Yeah.
swept in that bracket, but it wasn't like we didn't get like destroyed. It was like 2-0, 2-1.
Yeah.
And there might even been like an overtime game. Like they were the fairly close games.
Yeah. We
But
won.
our coach Subban, for those who
Yep.
don't know, Subban is the coach for the Rocket League team. He's been doing a phenomenal job.
Mhm.
That roster, since the pickup of Seabass and the addition of Subban, it's been a light and day difference. If you talk to any analyst who watches Rival Series right now, or any caster that pays attention um, to the Rival Series and basically what's considered to be the bottom 4 teams in RLCS, um, we're in a pretty good position to make a run into RLCS for season 9. Like we're one of the bona fide contenders for top 2. Like it's a good day to be a fan of RBG Esports and a fan of Rocket League.
Well, that's excellent to hear, and I'm very glad to hear that the team is doing well with all the new additions and on the coaching staff and with Seabass and everything. It's nice to know that that's a good fit and that we've got a shot at getting promoted here soon. But speaking of some new additions and some opportunities for success, CSGO team, Randomized, you've actually had the opportunity to speak with their manager Trace last night on stream as we're recording this, because you guys have been streaming a little bit of the Fragadelphia 13 online tournament, right?
Yeah. Excuse me. Actually, it's really cool. I didn't know, but if you got a stream and you have um a well-known audience and a backing, and you know, they're Fragadelphia and some other organizations apparently are cool with us streaming events. And RBG apparently is already starting to get a pretty decent name in CS:GO. They think they're from what I know, at least, that's what I'm hearing. But yeah, the past 2 days, round 1 and round 2 of the Fragadelphia 13 online, we got the pleasure to stream both our matches on. That was a Monday and a Tuesday, and currently, while we're recording this, our guys are about to play again. They played against a team, I believe, called Cursed Ascension, which we beat day 1, and then we played New Identity yesterday, which we lost 2-0, but the second game we brought them to a double overtime, 22-18, and that New Identity squad is actually what used to be a bunch of Faceit minor players and kind of just dropped off of teams, put a team together, and apparently the ranking together only stacks up to MDL. So, and I'm only using the words only.
They're registered. Like that's a registered team for Mountain Dew League.
Yeah,
like that's a team that is putting in the work to find a promotion spot into the ESEA Pro League.
Yeah.
They're actually a really good roster. And the fact that we could hang that this roster where it is right now, because for those that don't know, when we picked up this roster, once we decided we were going to go in that direction, we also I think we swapped out 2 players on the roster as well.
Yeah, and lost the coach.
And changed the coach.
Mm-hmm.
This is like this CS:GO roster we have in ESEA Advanced is pretty good. Cursed Ascension is in the league below us in ESEA Main, and I think that showed on stream. Like we were pretty dominant over that team. But the fact that we could hang and forcing double OT in the second map against New Identity speaks volumes to where this team is going. Like they haven't been teaming, like the whole roster with the 2 additions and the coach haven't been together that long. In fact, I think the coach is still I think he just got back home from vacation.
He just got back today, literally.
Yeah. So for those that don't know, the new coach KJ, he was the head analyst for Team Solo Mid and for Team Liquid.
Mm-hmm.
Like he was prepping strategy and working with rosters at like the highest level of the game. And now we have that level of expertise with a already very good roster. The goal here is promoting into MDL. We're going to be right there with New Identity for season 33. That's the goal. We'll play through ESEA Advanced for 32, but 33, we're in MDL.
Can I just point
Excellent.
something out really that kind of blows my mind? Probably our top 2 games. This is just a little fun fact on the side. Our top 2 games for RBG right now. One is going into season 8. The other one is going into season 32. It's kind of a mind-blowing fact to know that esports itself has been such a long, like there's such a giant difference of when games have started and how far each game has come. So it's just something when you said season 32, 33, it kind of just popped in my head and I was a little blown away by it. Like you never think about it. It's not something you sit down to think about, and being able to sit like this kind of blows my mind. But
well, they do like 2 to 3 seasons a year. It depends. It varies based on where the calendar falls. But bank on 2 seasons every year, and for at least for ESEA. So we're basically saying like 15 years that the ESEA has been around and putting on leagues. We knew when we started RBG that CS:GO was something we wanted to be involved in, that it was a storied game with a lot of history and a lot of things involved in it. Yeah, I'm happy with this roster and where it's going to go.
Yeah, me too.
Glad to hear it and looking forward to some more big things happening for RBG and another game here. Now, on that note, Apex Legends has picked up a bit of steam as a competitive format with the Season 2 update, the actual in-game roster, some talk of the actual like pro leagues starting to form and tournaments being established, things like that. So talk to me a little bit, guys, about where our roster sits currently.
Technically, the roster's in flux. Our goal right now is to stabilize it. We're very happy with the level of play we've been getting out of Ro and the amount of time he's putting into the game. There was a point in time, Senior Cola is technically still on the roster, but we are weighing options. The esport is so new that there's no real point in rushing anything. And so Cola's basically deciding, does he want to stick it out? Does he want to be involved? How much time does he want to pour into it? What IRL things he has going on? So there's that. So we have Vro, we have Cola, and we are in search of a third. They're currently doing tryouts for a couple people right now. But we are going to have that roster finalized probably well before October, because that's when Battle for the East is, right, Josh?
Battle of the East is in October, correct. And then there's the preseason event that was just announced by Respawn, and I believe that one's in September.
Yeah.
So we hope we can get a roster. We hope we can get an invite for it. I mean, honestly, if we get an invite for that and we can budget things properly and promise an attendance to the Poland event, I don't think finding a third would be too hard. But until we can
finding a quality third,
right?
I mean, honestly, at this point, like we could find anybody. Like, the game
third.
is so.
That's how it is. Kidding.
How many wins do you have, Josh?
I have more than you.
Do you? I don't know.
I get carried by Bro and Cola all the time.
Oh, there you go.
That's why I'm more.
How many? Okay, we gotta talk about how many wins you have without Bro and Cola. But either way, the point is, like, we can find anybody. Even like Gingerbeard, our player operations guy, he's not a comp veteran, but he's played BRs for a very long time. The pro Discord has plenty of free agents. There's a wealth of talent in the game. So finding a third is not going to be a problem. It's finding that quality third that really fits in with Vro. And if we decide to go in a different direction from Cola, making sure we find the second, like we need to find 2 pieces that fit well with Vro. Or heaven forbid, we go in a completely different direction. Either way, Apex Legends is a game that we really like. We like its future. Respawn has been a little bit more forthcoming about what it plans to do, so that's good. So we plan to have a a stable roster by September, like going into September. So I think we're now like second week of August, so that's not like a ton of time, but we'll make it work either way. If we don't go to the preseason invitational, that's fine. It's not the end of the world, but having a roster for Battle of the East is a priority.
For sure. Well, as always, for you folks at home, stay tuned to the Twitter at RBG Esports or RBGesports.com for any and all roster updates and things of that nature, especially as it might regard the Apex Legends squad, or as I am told, apparently our Halo squad is also in a little bit of a flux right now. Correct?
Yeah, so after DreamHack Dallas, things have been bouncing back and forth. This is very common in Halo for teams to bounce back and forth unless you are literally on a big time esports org and you've been placing top 4 probably every event. But with the amount of events that are happening and being hosted by so many different tournament organizers, it's kind of tough to really stick that out. Display is pretty much at the moment our staple to the game, and he's going to pretty much stick it out with RBG as long as possible. He is currently trying out with a specific roster, which if he does stick with this roster and this roster does stick with him, will be very exciting, because I don't want to make any spoilers, but some of these players on this roster are some OG Halo players, which is really cool. Either way, he's still testing out the water with a few different rosters, and that's also including some of our old players like Rowan, Employee, and Scary. I believe Rowan and Employee are still teaming with each other, but they're not 100% sure yet either. So we have a little bit of time, because right now it is qualifiers. First qualifier already happened. Things didn't go too well, but because it was the roster that Display is playing with, they ended up having to play with a sub. One of the, I would say, higher skilled players ended up going on vacation a little earlier than he expected. And but they're still playing it out. We'll probably get more word about it this Friday, and hopefully we'll know if this will become the official roster to stick, because that's the nice thing, that this one specific team that Display is talking to, they said they want to become that next stable roster and just solidify and stay as a roster for until at least Halo Reach, which is the air quote rumor of next year, 2020. That'd be pretty cool if Halo Reach is the game to come back, and it will be on PC. So I know I will be playing the heck out of it again, especially because that was my peak game. But it's not about me yet. But yeah, we'll see what happens.
Well, I'm sure there are plenty of people waiting there with bated breath to be able to finally play Halo on PC. But we will keep you all updated as that comes out, as well as any roster additions take shape. Wrapping things off for our team roundups here. Villain is leaving soon for Seoul, South Korea, as next weekend is going to be that stop for the Hearthstone Masters Tour. And while I don't want to go into too much detail, because coming out here in the next few days, you all can look on our YouTube, on our Twitter, our Instagram, places like that, and you will see the update coming out for I got to sit down and have a conversation with Villain one-on-one for about an hour regarding this upcoming opportunity. But Swan, I know Hearthstone tends to be your bread and butter in the organization. Have you had a chance to talk to him? Are you getting excited about this?
I'm always excited when Villain goes to compete. Since we brought him on, and we've been working with him, he's an incredibly smart kid, super talented, really down to earth. Has a phenomenal practice group. He didn't have the greatest showing in Vegas. He lost. He drew the short straw on some really unfortunate mirror matchups, and ended up taking a 2-1 loss to Zalay as well, who's essentially like a top 20 player in the world. If there was a world ranking for Hearthstone players, Zalay would probably be in that top 20. He's a huge content creator for not Temple Storm, but for Omni Slash. The fact that he was able to get a win off of Zole was kind of just a testament to Villain's talent and his prowess in the game. So Villain's a guy that he can show up and he can go 9-0. He can do it. We'll see. The new expansion just came out, so he's been grinding that with his practice group. He flies out next Monday, so he will have quite a few days to get acclimated to being in Korea. In that like that's an egregiously different time zone. I think it puts him like more than a half day behind. I think is how that math works out. Either way, it's really different. Sleep schedule is going to be all kinds of different. But we planned ahead to make sure he had time to kind of bounce back from any kind of jet lag or anything like that, so he'd be ready to compete on Friday. But yeah, no, we're hopefully he got knocked out after day one. We're hoping he at a minimum makes it to day two. I think if you make it into day two, you're guaranteed some kind of prize money, and that'll be, I mean, that's always rewarding to go to an event and walk away with some kind of cash. So, and then after that, we start prepping for Europe. All 4 players, I think, are going to be doing qualifiers. Manny Show and Run have kind of been taking a break from the game, but we hope that they'll be back ready to compete and kind of grind. Innovation just got back from a family vacation in Poland, and he will start grinding cups with Villain. That was the real big draw to add Villain, was that he's good friends with Innovation, part of that practice group, and hopefully Villain and Inno will provide some good results for Europe. But for now, not next weekend, 2 weekends out, Korea, the Masters Tour. It's gonna be awesome.
Yes, on the weekend of August 16th is when he will be playing there. So feel free to root him on Twitter. You know, leave him some comments in the Discord, anything like that. It would be wonderful for him to have plenty of support going into this tournament, as it is a really big deal and one of the first times that RBG is going properly international in person for these competitions. So we're hoping that there'll be some very big things. If you are not necessarily the most knowledgeable person on Hearthstone, please keep a lookout on Twitter, on YouTube, in the Discord, places like that. And you can watch some of this interview that I got to do with Villain. And we're going to walk you through a little bit of just how much the Masters Tour means, what it took to get there, all those kinds of things. So that if you do want to watch it, or if you do keep up to date with him on social medias, you'll have an idea of what's going on and why we're so excited for it. But do reach out to him, give him some congratulations, and root him on as he heads over to South Korea here soon. Now, coming up, we've finally got some tournaments happening again for RBG. I hear that there is one new and one old returning favorite. Would you all care to speak to that?
Yeah, so this Saturday we are going to be, I say this Saturday as if you are watching this directly at the same time as we are recording this. August 10th, that Saturday, I believe starting at noon, we will be hosting a beta test tournament for Dota Underlord. We want to try it out. We want to see what it's like. We want to try to get involved in the esport of it, especially because there is a very high chance that both Teamfight Tactics and Dota Underlord will develop an esports scene. If it doesn't, I would be mind blown. But we want to try our hands in Dota first, Underlord, I should say. There's a lot of staff members here that play Underlord, so I think it's a little bit more of an advantage for us to be able to run that event. Possibly a Teamfight Tactic tournament in the future. We are speaking about that. But it will be this Saturday. It will be a $60 prize pool. And Underlords, I've been corrected by a wonderful man in the background. AKA Swan is here. Without him, I would mess up everything. But
okay, I'll take it. That's fine.
Take my credit. I see how it is.
Oh, that's Dan. Wow, I can't read. I can't
every
read.
Time, Dan.
This is why this is why I have them with me, because words are hard. Thank you, Dan. But it's a $60 prize pool, $30 for first, 20 for second. You can guess the third. And it's just a beta right now. If things go well, people show up and people play in it, and we can actually host a decent tournament slash put on a good production, we will definitely look to do more of that. But the other one that's coming back, you've all been asking for it, especially shout outs to Evil, who has been prying at us. Gauntlet has a return, and it will be back on Wednesdays. It'll be back on Wednesdays at 8 p.m. Eastern time, which means the cutoff time will be 7:30. Do not sign up at 7:35, please. But it will be back. The prize pool will be bigger. We don't have the official prize pool amount, but know that it's much more than $30. And we are going to be switching to a bi-monthly format. So that means it will be every other Wednesday, just to allow us to make sure we prepare things better and not burn out both the community and us, so that we can host bigger, better tournaments. But like I said, it will be on Wednesdays now, so don't look for Saturdays, but it will be back August 14th is the first one. August 14th on Wednesday at 8 p.m. Of course, will be streamed here, and will be Eastern time. Thank you. And I'm excited. I'm glad that we're going to be getting back into it. And we have an amazing person in the background who's working on some art assets for us as well. It won't be in time, sadly, because of how busy a lot of us have been. But there will be a facelift for the Gauntlet soon. And I'm excited to see what it's going to look like.
Yep. Other than that, we have tournaments we are attending. Those events will be going. The Rocket League team qualified for the WGN North American Championship, August 23rd through 25th. The 23rd is the live qualifier, so if you're in Canada or want to drive up from the USA to go compete in Toronto, you may do so. But the actual 8-team grand championship, basically grand championship for the final championship for the bracket, is going to be that 24th and 25th. Group stage Saturday, playoff bracket Sunday. Winner earns a berth to DreamHack Montreal. However, since we are an RLRS team, we were offered a early sign-up spot, so we went ahead and did that and confirmed with DreamHack that we would be attending regardless. So we'll play in Toronto August 24th, 25th, and then we will be at DreamHack Montreal September 6th through the 8th. We will actually be there a day early as well. Make sure we have time to get acclimated to Montreal, find practice space, be around. So if you are a fan of the team, want to meet up, let us know. You can hit us up on Twitter or come in the Discord. We could definitely arrange some kind of like autograph session with Aeon, Rapid, and Seabass. I'm sure they'd love to meet fans. We haven't had an opportunity to do that with the new roster yet. So if you plan on coming to DreamHack Montreal, let us know. We can make that time. We can definitely make that time.
And if you speak French, please help us out. No one speaks
French. There's been a lot of back and forth in the Rocket League Pro Discord about the language needs in Montreal. Luckily, everyone does speak English there. Plus, we were there last year with our previous Rocket League roster and some of the Hearthstone players. But it's nice to be going back for the Rocket League Pro circuit.
Mm-hmm. Oh, that's right. We have another event.
You do.
Also,
you do. And I was going to leave it for you since it's your bread and butter.
Right. Also, 6th to the 8th of September will be the UGC Halo Classic, Halo 4v4, Halo 3 4v4. I think it's a $50,000 prize pool in Atlantic City. Yeah, and that's what our guys are preparing for right now. Display is, like I said before, trying to settle a roster for that event. And I'm not allowed to say it on air, but we have been confirmed there is one more Halo 3 event that will happen this year. We will announce it later on when it is officially announced. but we got a little birdie letting us know, and I'm very excited about it.
What's the point of saying it, like teasing it now?
Bro. Tease, man. We got to get
Is any-
everyone to come back to the podcast.
Gotta add some drama. Come on.
That's a little sus there, bud. But anyway, like we've decided to really focus on Rocket League and Halo, and now that we have a CS:GO team, to like really kind of fine tune what events we go to, what games we are involved in, and Rocket League has proved to be. It doesn't help or hurt really that 90% of staff here at RBG have just a pure love of Rocket League, and with Josh's background in Halo, I was like, for me, I was never a competitor in Halo, but I definitely wrote a 30-page thesis on how MLG and Halo changed gaming forever.
I actually want to read that. Can you send that to me? I would love to read that.
If I have it on my Google Drive, I'll send it to you. But I definitely wrote like a 30-page paper on. It was more so how Halo 2 and Xbox Live changed online gaming, but because of that, it became a study of like Halo culture and MLG. And so like Halo is matchmaking, yes. So like Halo is very near and dear to me and Josh as well. Mm-hmm. But in other RBG news, and this will be like probably the last thing we talk about before we dive into the questions, not to take over Dan's hosting duties.
You get my credit, you get my job. I see how it is.
Well, I am one of the people that own this stuff, so I'll take it. I'll go ahead and take that. Anyway,
I'm not gonna fight
it. We teased it a while ago because we got the new logo. That with the new logo, we'd have to get new jerseys. I think actually we're almost done with the production, like the actual like design phase, right, Josh?
Almost.
We are nearing completion.
Now we're just tweaking.
Yeah, we're like final adjustments, making sure we find the exact look that we like. And I think we're only rushing the design on getting one jersey done so we can have that ready to go for LAN. Yeah. But there's gonna be a ton of new merch available. Can we announce who we're moving to? I guess because we didn't do that before.
Not yet. Not until we're officially done.
Oh, okay.
There is a move, and
there's a lot of At some point, we should probably Josh or I should sit down and do like the state of the org type stuff and actually go through like the numbers of what and some of the behind the scene things of what's going on. But New Jersey, it's coming. It'll be ready well before DreamHack Montreal. You might, if you're like a dedicated fan and want to spend the cash early, you might be able to get one ready before Montreal, and that'd be cool to see a ton of new jerseys out there.
Yeah, I might bring some too as well. I might just bulk purchase, and then if you're at Montreal and you weren't able to grab one, I'll try to have a few on hand that you can definitely get your hands on.
But as we go through the rest of the calendar year, and hopefully, I imagine with this, like, to me, I would say DreamHack Rocket League Pro Circuit has been fairly successful. Does no one disputes that? All right. So the possibility of DreamHack the Pro Circuit returning for next year with DreamHack Leipzig is probably pretty high. So like for other LAN events and other live Rocket League events, or even any kind of esport event you want to go to, whether it be something for Halo or something for CS:GO or maybe undisclosed game that we're getting into soon.
Farming Simulator. Sorry. Just kidding.
We're gonna have a new jersey and plenty of new merch coming very soon. I really like the direction we're going in with that. So that'll be exciting.
Excellent. Glad to hear. I had to resist the urge many times to say that we were purchasing New Jersey or otherwise disparage Josh's home state, but that's okay.
I hate every time I text Josh about it, it capitalizes the new and the J. No,
it's a sign. It's a sign. It's a sign.
It's a curse. Is what it is. It's a curse. Is what it is.
Well, here on this boisterous roundup for August, we are closing down on our announcements and our news and our updates for you all. But we do always like to end the monthly roundup with a little bit of time to speak with our community. So if you have questions for us, feel free to reach out on Twitter at RBG_Esports. Feel free to reach out to any of us individually or hop in the Discord, and we have our podcast question box, and that is where the following questions from Jakester and Fishy Sauce come from. they submitted them. We get an opportunity here to talk back with you all and speak with our community about the things you all care about. After all, esports is not only about the players, but about the viewers too, and that whole shebang. So Jakester asked, when can we expect the Gauntlet to return? Which, Jakes, you have your answer now.
Check.
And then, how has the RL team been feeling with the next RLCS RLRS season approaching?
Which we've also spoken about.
Yeah, we kind of thought. Yeah, check. They're excited. They're ready to go. Let's go win some games.
Oh yeah,
All right.
Rapid has pretty much told me 2 nights in a row he cannot wait for this to happen. He's like, in my best Rapid impression, let me get my deepest voice out. We're making RLCS. I can't get it.
You gotta round it out. It's like, we're making RLCS, bro. We're making it. We're making it.
I wish I could have that deep voice.
It's so good. I love where the Rocket League team is at. Love it so much.
Me too. Oh, it's so exciting. I've also lost my voice from when we beat NRG. It's finally recovering. I blew some eardrums, so apologize for anyone that was watching, including Jake, sir.
No apologies.
No apologies. You're good at you now. You know what it feels like to be me. When I'm missing one, you miss one too.
Now you know what it feels like to be me when we're running the Gauntlet and there's him screaming in the ears. But you know, it's a good time. Well, moving on just a little bit, Fishy Sauce asked, RBG has players for Rocket League, CSGO, Apex, Halo, and Hearthstone. What games are we looking to get into, if any? Specifically, how high on your list is Rainbow Six Siege?
Are you trying to play on our team for Rainbow Six? Is that the question?
We're always looking for another game to be in if it's smart, which means that we can manage a budget for it and be successful. Part of that, there's 2 things that go. Well, we'll say 3 things that go into us making a decision to be involved in a game. Is it feasible financially? Does it make sense for us to be in it? Is the roster going to be profitable? Is it going to be a benefit to the org financially, or is it going to be not expensive? If it's like a commitment of a couple plane flights a year, then yeah, that makes sense for us to be involved. Is there an exorbitant salary cost associated with it? Yeah, we may need to wait. On top with that too, is it how strong is the community? What's our level of interest? If it's a game that we strictly just do not care about, why would we want to be represented in it? That kind of thing. So, like, do we have, does the organization already have invested value? Like, that's one of the reasons we're so successful in Rocket League, is that there's just that pure love of the game that we want to be involved. So, like, come hell or high water, we are going to be involved in Rocket League. Whereas with some other games, we may not care. Like, the amount of people that play Clash Royale in the Discord would not matter if it weren't for Josh, because there may not be enough people. Like, I like the game, but I don't love it as much as Josh does. So
I may or may not play that game a little bit too much.
So it really comes down to the financial viability of it. And I got distracted by the financial stuff because I had 2 other like really good points of contention of do we want to be involved in a game? So that's a loss, but it really comes down to, does it make sense for us to be in it? Is it smart?
Yeah.
More on there's definitely some games on our radar. With the success of the Fortnite World Cup, I can't say that we wouldn't want to have 1 or 2 dedicated Fortnite players, people that are passionate about the game and want to represent the brand in that space. There's plenty of guys on staff and in the community that have a love of the game and would love to see the red, black, and gold with in the Fortnite space. Rainbow Six Siege is a game. There's a lot of people that love it. I find the game fascinating. I'm terrible at it. I only have like 10 minutes of the game, but but it's a game that I find fascinating. It's much like any other shooter. Like there's a strategic aspect of it that I really enjoy. Is it financially feasible? Probably not with how the league is structured. So I mean, yes, we want to be involved in.
That is something else to kind of bounce off what Swan was saying as well with the, with structure and everything. I know me personally, one of the things I look for when when we want to get involved in an esport is what is the structure of the esport itself. You know, Rocket League has leagues. It's nice. CS:GO has seasons and leagues as well. It's nice. Whereas some games like Halo, it's not as bad because, like Swan said, a couple plane tickets ain't the worst thing in the world. And it's a little bounce back and forth, but because I know the scene so well, it's not so hard for us. It's also a learning curve for us where we need to not just learn the game, but see what if the developers themselves are acting as the tournament organizers, see where they're going to go with it. So like I would love to get involved in Fortnite, even though I'm not the biggest fan of Fortnite. I would love to get involved with it, but I'm still skeptical of the esports world of it. But with the partnership between Epic and Psyonix, and the person's name slipped right out of my head. It was the person who did the structure for the league.
I forget.
You know what I'm talking about from Overwatch.
I know you're talking
over
about
in Epic.
Yeah,
now.
the commissioner, the former commissioner for Overwatch,
yeah,
is now like the director of esports for Epic Games.
Mhm.
So that's things that we, you know, you as a player or a community member who watch these games, you may not realize not even just the game or the developer, but the people behind it and what they're doing. We are watching it. We're reading articles, listening to podcasts, seeing if we can shake hands with some of these people. That helps us decide whether or not we want to get involved. I mean, if we wanted to name a couple games right off the bat to say what we're more highly looking into, Rainbow Six definitely one of them. Fortnite is definitely. PUBG is one. Clash Royale, maybe next season, if we can get our hands in it. I'm slightly more interested in getting back into the Smash world now that Nintendo finally said, all right, fine, have it your way. No items, flat, and with some platform levels and 3 stock. I think it's 8 minutes. You know, the way the esport has been done by the community, Nintendo has finally said, we'll try to back it up. I just want to see if they're, you know, they're going to put their money to their mouth and they're going to do it more than just one time. And then they go, no, but we missed the blue shell and the hammer and your horrible RNG luck. If we wanted to deal with that, we have Hearthstone and Apex for that. We have plenty of RNG to deal with. No more. So, but if you wanted to know exactly some games we have constantly spoken about, those are some of them.
Yeah.
Well, all right, folks. I think that'll about round it up unless you all have any closing remarks.
I actually don't. It's been a very eventful month so far for RBG. We've only been talking about the things that are happening in public, like what are essentially the public eye. We've been talking about things that, like, if you just watch the organization and like follow us on Twitter or are in the Discord, that's just stuff that you would see. There's been a lot of things moving in the background that unfortunately we just can't talk freely with all of you. Like I would love to sit down for half and tell everyone all the great stuff happening at RBG on the back end that's going to make everything on the front end so much better. But unfortunately we just can't do that. But in time we can make all that happen, and there's gonna be a lot of good stuff coming. I hate that phrase. There's gonna be a lot of good things coming down the pipeline. I hate that phrase because we want all that good stuff now. We don't want to be. I don't want to be. I don't want to tease it. And I don't want to be teased about it. But that's the nature of the business. Is we have all this cool stuff that we're celebrating. The win over NRG, Villain flying out to Korea to go kick some butt in Hearthstone, and then prepping for LAN with the Rocket League team and scoring up the Apex roster. Like, there's a lot of good stuff that we can celebrate, and just know that a month from now, 2 months from now, 3 months from now, we're gonna take all that, like, all the way. We're gonna dial it up to 11 as much as we can.
Yeah. For a closing remark for me, we really do want to get more involved with the community. I know our event coordinator and a few other staff members have been working on some ways to connect with you guys, whether it's through games or through maybe movies or TV or anime. If you haven't noticed, in the Discord, there was a huge change of different text chats, and it's actually been pretty successful. A lot of people have been talking about anime and food, and it's been a lot of fun. I want to see more pets. I love pets. But if you want to get involved more in a video game style, we do have that Clash Royale. We have a clan, and it's acting as a community / staff kind of thing. So if you play Clash Royale and you want to hang out with us, we do talk strategy. We have a Discord channel hidden just for Clash Royale and a voice chat where you can literally hang out and talk with us. It's pretty heavily active for 12 members so far, so we could use the help. So come on in, play some Clash Royale.
Well, all right. For Michael Swan, for Josh Arcia, for the rest of the RBG Esports staff, I'm Daniel Stupradican, joining you here for our August edition of the monthly roundup here for RBG Esports. We'll be back in September. In the meantime, look at the Twitter, look at the Discord, check out the website, leave us a comment on one of the videos. Find the Instagram page that Josh has been working so hard at, along with so many of our other staff members. And generally, just enjoy yourselves, enjoy our content, and we'll see you next month.